Let's get started from the top with the refinement process. The first elements are the logo and the main menu. Before we proceed though, we need to carefully think and decide what style are we going to go for, because the header will surely have a big impact on the overall style of the rest of the design. To help us figure things out, we'll look at everything we have, and that is his existing website, the new layout he made for us, the inspirational links, and the brief. His current website has a horizontal design, very clear to see that. The mockup follows the same suit, and Buffer app clearly tells us we should go for the same style in our designs. SEO Moz again horizontal, so no real decision here, nothing to interpret, just look at all the cards that are on the table and you'll have no trouble identifying the style. In our project we'll use quite a lot of white space, have an airy design far away from anything busy or cluttered. We'll surely use red here and there for the impact since that's the main color in the logo, so again no mystery behind our decisions. Let's shrink the logo down since it's currently too big and then focus on the menu. We need a background for it, so we'll add a rectangle up top in the form of a band. It will occupy the entire length of the screen, it will be white, and we need to make sure we have it aligned at the top. It's hiding our logo, so move it down in the layers panel. We don't want anything too tall since that will take away from the hero area. Clients are usually very worried about the fold. It's a concept from the newspaper industry regarding the amount of information displayed in the first half of the front page. When these were delivered, the newspapers were of course folded, and people passing by only saw what was above the fold, that imaginary line which was at the point where the paper was actually folded. It's 600 pixels tall, and it's a stupid concept in web design in 2013. In 1999, when you had a 14-inch monitor, maybe it was important. But when you have a 20-inch, 22, 24-inch monitor, that's no longer a problem. Even on small monitors, people do scroll, and there's a lot of articles out there regarding the death of the mystical fold. Of course, clients don't know this and they still ask you to cram as much info as possible in the first part of the screen. You'll learn more about this as you go along, but at this point you shouldn't worry about it. I just thought I should mention what's the fold. Add the drop shadow to it so we can clearly see it. 2 pixels distance, 2 pixels size. The opacity should be lowered to about 15% since currently we have a white background. We might change it though depending on our color usage. Now for the menu items. Put it into place and we'll focus on the font for the moment. Remember, we need a Google font, so my first option will be Abel. A pretty good looking sans serif font, although I like it more as a headline font and less for small text. Let's space it out and copy that area. Paste it between each item like we always do. Not that happy on how it looks, so let's make it in all caps and adjust the size a bit. Put it into place and center it in the white rectangle. Alright, maybe something like this. Let's explore other options too. Maybe Oswald? Nope, that's a bad call. It's way too powerful and it stands out too much. Let's try Archivo Nero. I hope that's the way it's actually pronounced. I know it has multiple weights and it looks nice. And indeed, this seems to work. Maybe just nudge the size down a bit, align it vertically, and open up the guides to position it on the right side of the design. Okay, looking good. Let's add a couple of extra spaces for each area though. I think that will be better. Yeah, that's definitely better. Of course, put it again into place and do the same for the logo. It's starting to take shape, but if we leave it at that, it won't win any creative shows really. So we'll add bits and pieces to it in order to spice things up. Remember, we want to apparently have simple elements which are of course functional, easy to use, but with a lot of details to them. First, let's use the color picker on our logo to get a nice red color. With that, we'll make the sign-in item stand out more. Instead of just changing its color, we'll grab the rounded rectangle tool and make a button underneath it. Change its color, zoom in, and use the marquee tool to center the shape to the text. So far we did it the other way around, but in this case the text layer contains other menu items, so that wouldn't work. After it's centered, change the text color of that item to white and make it bold. And that's already starting to look quite nice. Select both layers, open up the guides and move it into place. Then rename and group them. You saw in the previous project how important it was to have an organized project, so it goes without saying you should always group 3 or more layers that go together. In some cases even 2 layers. For a bit more detail, we'll make a new layer, grab the pencil tool and make a separator. Just a few dots, nothing too big, and then align it properly with the marquee tool. Use it for both horizontal and vertical alignment. Then rename it, copy it multiple times, and center it for every 2 items. Between the contact item and the sign in button, we won't put a separator since it will look cluttered. Group all the separators into one folder. Okay, moving on, we'll make a copy of the top BG and move it underneath our header. Then resize it because this will act as our holder for our hero area. For the moment, we'll just change its color to a very light gray. This will provide an adequate contrast with our text layers since white would be too much and I'm guessing red will be way too strong. So this is what we have so far and it's catching shape. The menu is simple and elegant and we've set up a general idea for our hero area as well as set up our font. Let's carry on.